How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
The courtroom was steeped in a heavy, almost suffocating silence, the kind that magnifies every shuffle of paper and stray cough. It was the 17th day of Sean Diddy Combs' trial when, for the first time, the name Kim Kardashian echoed through the room. The effect was electric, like a sudden thunderclap slicing through the still air. A collective jolt ran through the gallery. Reporters froze mid-note. Spectators stared wide-eyed. In an instant, one of Hollywood's most meticulously crafted icons had been thrust into the heart of a case already teetering on the brink of scandal and collapse.
By the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witness violence.
The moment hung in the air, thick with the sense that something seismic had just shifted. What had started as a trial focused on the alleged criminal enterprise of Sean Diddy Combs was now unraveling into an exposé of hidden alliances and unspeakable complicity. No one had imagined the web could stretch this far. The media frenzy was immediate and vicious. Within minutes, news outlets blasted out headlines about the bombshell revelation, speculating wildly about the role Kim Kardashian, reality TV titan and business mogul, might have played in this dark narrative. The allegations, drawn from leaked documents and whispered in courtroom corridors, were chilling. Kim Kardashian was no casual guest at Diddy's infamous party. She wasn't just another face in the sea of excess and spectacle. According to emerging claims, she was allegedly a fixer, a discreet power player who brokered deals, massaged financial entanglements, and most damning of all, helped silence victims. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Reporters scribbled furiously, eyes wide in disbelief. Could it be true? Could one of the most visible, meticulously crafted figures in the world be enmeshed in such a shadowy conspiracy?
King nights. And what a wild king night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, ashwagandha.
The details only deepened the intrigue. For years, Diddy's parties had been the stuff of legend. Lavish, secretive affairs where the rich and powerful gathered behind closed doors. These were playgrounds of unchecked indulgence, where boundaries dissolved and privilege reigned. But now, as federal prosecutors peeled back the layers of a sprawling criminal enterprise, these glittering soirees were being rebranded as something far more sinister. Known among insiders as freak-offs, they were no longer just parties. They were calculated spectacles of exploitation, cloaked in luxury. Beneath the glamour lay a complex machinery designed to maintain control and suppress dissent. There were always whispers of enablers, those who kept the wheels turning, ensured discretion, and neutralized threats. Now, stunningly, Kim Kardashian's name had surfaced within that machinery. She wasn't, it was suggested, a mere guest. Allegations painted her as an active participant in the ecosystem, a fixer who helped manage reputational risks, silenced inconvenient voices, and ensured the empire's dark undercurrents remained hidden. What made the claims especially damp was their precision. Whispers of blackmail, covert financial settlements, and meticulously orchestrated payoffs began to emerge. According to reports, Kardashian allegedly brokered backroom deals to bury damaging stories, identified potential threats to Diddy's public image, and played a role in ensuring they were either placated or neutralized.
Of coming forward, they've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so, yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
The court heard references to documents that allegedly detailed hush money payments, secret agreements, and financial trails pointing to a far-reaching operation. Was Kim Kardashian truly a key figure in this shadowy network, or was she now collateral? Damage in a spiraling storm years in the making? Diddy's empire had long thrived on mystique, wealth, and influence. But the trial was stripping away layers that no celebrity polish could conceal. The prosecution laid out a portrait of a criminal enterprise engineered with precision, one that depended on the complicity of insiders and the silence of those on the outside. Now, with Kim Kardashian's name thrust under the harsh glare, the courtroom spotlight, the narrative was shifting. What had begun as a trial focused on Diddy alone was expanding into a broader exposé of the elite circles that may have enabled his empire and the secrets they worked so hard to keep buried.
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, "How you doing?" I'm kind of like, wow, what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, "If you need anything at all."
Industry insiders began to speak out, though only under the cover of anonymity, about the whispers that had circulated for years. They described a world where influence was current, where silence was bought, and where those who dared to step out of line were swiftly and ruthlessly handled. The allegations against Kim Kardashian, if proven true, wouldn't merely tarnish her meticulously crafted public image. They could unravel the broader illusion that surrounded Hollywood's elite. The mere suggestion that Kardashian might have played a role in such a scheme felt like a profound betrayal to many. She had built her empire on the narrative of empowerment, the story of a self-made woman who transformed reality television fame into a global brand. But what if that success had come at a cost? What if, behind the veneer of entrepreneurial triumph, there lay a deeper complicity, a role in sustaining a system built to exploit, control, and silence?
Sorry, I'm just like really, I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck. During those years, you're still stuck 21 years later.
The quorum drama was far from over. As the days passed, new details surfaced, casting an even darker shadow over the ties between Diddy and Kardashian. The two had long been fixtures of the same elite social circles, attending the same events, mingling with the same powerful network. But now, those connections were being dissected under an unforgiving spotlight. The narrative was shifting, and with the public's perception of both figures. For Diddy, the trial had already dealt a crushing blow to his once unassailable legacy. For Kardashian, the ramifications were only beginning to unfold. Was she a complicit player in this alleged criminal enterprise, or an unwitting victim ensnared by forces beyond her control? The trial promised more revelations in the weeks ahead. But for now, one disturbing question lingered in the public consciousness. Just how deep did the rot go?
She testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he her, sexually assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, at one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone.
The revelations about Kim Kardashian sent shockwaves through the courtroom and far beyond, but the story was far from over. As the trial unfolded, an unexpected twist emerged, one that blurred the narrative and cast her role in a new, more complex light. Could it be that Kim Kardashian, once the embodiment of power and control, was herself a victim of the very machine she was accused of helping to run? Whispers of coercion began to circulate, suggesting that her actions might not have been as voluntary as once believed. Was she a willing accomplice, or had she been manipulated, even blackmailed, into participating in Diddy's alleged scheme? In a world where influence and leverage are wielded like weapons, the idea seemed both shocking and disturbingly plausible. Inside the courtroom, speculation ran rampant. Sources close to the case hinted at a darker undercurrent, one in which Kardashian's involvement in Diddy's empire may have stemmed from threats, financial entanglements, or emotional manipulation. The question now hanging over the proceedings: was Kim Kardashian truly in control, or just another pawn in a far, more sinister game?
You already made everybody think I'm crazy. You already took my family away. You already separated all my friends. I don't got no celebrity.
This wasn't the first time questions of coercion had surfaced in Diddy's trial. Former assistants, collaborators, and even victims had already testified to the overwhelming power he wielded over those in his orbit. His ability to manipulate, intimidate, and isolate was well documented. Could it be that Kardashian, despite her fame and fortune, had become ensnared in that same web? Some pointed to her long-standing association with Diddy as evidence of a deeper, more complicated story. Publicly, their relationship appeared mutually beneficial. He offered access to elite circles and high-profile events. She, in turn, lent star power and a veneer of legitimacy to his gathering. But behind closed doors, was there something more sinister at play? Had she been coerced into protecting his interests, silencing witnesses, or facilitating questionable financial deals to safeguard her own secrets? As the trial progressed, that chilling possibility could no longer be dismissed.
As far as Meek Mills, Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these, all you fake hard.
Adding fuel to the fire were cryptic remarks from her ex-husband, Ye, a man who, in recent years, had never shied away from controversy. He had long made bizarre, inflammatory statements about Kardashian and her connection, words once dismissed as the ramblings of a volatile public figure. But now, in the shadow of the trial, those comments took on an unsettling new relevance. Yet West's outbursts were only part of the growing intrigue. Industry insiders began revisiting the years. Kardashian spent closely aligned with Diddy's infamous white parties. Once hailed as the epitome of Hollywood glamour and excess, these annual Labor Day events, held from 1998 to 2009, were now under a far grimmer spotlight. The guest lists had included A-listers like Leonardo DiCaprio, Beyoncé, and even political power players, all dressed in pristine white. But investigators now allege that beneath the surface, these parties often served as testing grounds for Diddy's more secretive dealings, with hand-picked attendees chosen for their discretion. Kardashian's frequent presence, once immortal in glossy tabloid spreads, now appeared in a far different light. What had once seemed like carefree social climbing was now being reinterpreted as a calculated proximity to power, with all the unseen risks that entailed.